Hey guys, it's Conan, and today I don't really know how I feel. I kind of just felt like talking because I just feel like there's a lot to talk about at this point in my life. And I have this leftover cookie dough from when I made brownies with my friend Ashley that we felt like putting cookie dough inside, so it'd be like a brownie and a cookie. So it's like a crownie or like a bookie. Anywho, I have a leftover and I thought I would go ahead and make them because I'm just in this weird mood. This angle is a little bit different than normal. It's not symmetrical. And I have my camera positioned downward so that I can slouch because my posture is absolutely terrible. This is another segment of the world famous cooking show extraordinaire, Babble&Bake. For those of you guys who are not familiar with Babble&Bake, it is a show where I bake and I babble about anything. Usually nothing, but also everything. Today, and actually a lot lately, I've been thinking a lot about love. And love in all of its definitions, not just romantic love, but self-love. And so I figured I would get this leftover cookie dough and make little heart-shaped cookies and then eat the hearts because I hate love. Just kidding. But I am going to make them heart-shaped just because it'll be cute. Let's get started. Aha. So let's talk about love. Lately, I've been feeling a lot like I missed out on a really big part of high school, which is that classic, iconic high school relationship that every single person seems to have, but I never had. Fun fact, I've never dated anyone before. I've never been on a single date. I have not had my first kiss. I've in fact never even non-platonically held someone's hand before. I am just about the most innocent, pure baby, probably on YouTube. I'm more innocent than actual babies. Little heart. I spent all of high school working really hard in classes and working really hard on YouTube videos, so I never even gave myself time to fall in love. While all of my friends were going on dates and being all mushy-gushy, I was working. It's just what I've always done. And lately I've kind of just felt a little bit regretful that I did that. It wasn't that I never had the opportunity to date someone, it's just I never even wanted to. I never even had a thought in my mind about it. The thought of dating someone didn't cross my mind a single time during most of high school. Then senior year came around and I realized how much of high school I missed because I never let myself do anything. And then senior year I was like, well shoot, I missed out on that, but it was too late by then. All of senior year, I worked harder on the internet and on music than I ever have in my whole entire life. I didn't really understand how much I secretly craved to be in a relationship until I started writing music a lot more. 2 cookies. I'm the type of person who doesn't really know what they're thinking until they write it out. And the past couple of weeks, I just realized that so many of the songs that I'm writing are about how I feel like a robot because I've never been in love before. It's very hard to exist in our current world if you're not in love because there's constant signs of being in love everywhere. I'm at this phase of my life where every single one of my friends is dating someone. Every single one of my friends has a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It's just the way it is. And so almost all the time I spend with any of my friends, I'm usually third wheeling. And although I act like I don't care, and although I act like it's like not a big deal, I go home and write all these songs about how terribly lonely I feel all the time. It's absolutely my fault though. I very specifically made an effort to never get in a relationship because I'm too much of a career person. I evaluated my life at a very young age, realized that I had a lot of work to do in order to make it out of the situation that I was, and I also deducted that there was no space in my life whatsoever to include dating someone. It's just so time consuming and it just didn't seem worth it at the time. But now that I'm an 18-year-old who's never dated anyone my whole entire life, I feel a little bit stupid, and I feel a little bit like I missed out on something, to be very honest. I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there who also never dated anyone before, so I know I'm not like alone in this feeling. It just kind of is a feeling that I've had a lot lately. But because of my very extreme amount of self-control, I did exactly what I wanted to do. I worked very hard in high school, got good grades, I graduated, I got into a great school, and now I'm actually having the opportunity to pursue a career that I've always wanted to pursue, but I've never been in love. And especially in the music industry, where almost every single song is about love, I'm like, what's so great about love? What am I missing out on? Those have been my recent thoughts about romantic love. Ugh, it makes me feel like I want to throw up all the time. I hate it. I don't know why my brain is subconsciously telling me that I should be in love when I don't want to be in love. There's no space. I got to work. I just don't know. This heart's a little bit too fat. This one's just a little bit too in love, so let's take a little bit of that out. The heart is too full. These cookies are probably gonna turn out not looking like hearts at all after they're baked. Anywho, another form of love that I've been thinking about a lot lately is self-love and how much I have changed in the past year due to self-love. When I was in middle school, I used to very vigorously hate myself. I can laugh about it now, but at the time it was not very good. I was very extremely bullied throughout middle school, so I just had this like ever-present feeling of not liking myself. And I'm so surprised at how far I've come since my middle school years. I went from utterly hating myself to not even caring what other people think about me at all, to the point where I can show my true self to like hundreds of thousands of people and it doesn't even bother me. Look at my cookies. Just an update on the cookie sculpting. Self-love was definitely a really long journey for me. Almost instantly, from as far back as I could remember, I was told that I shouldn't like myself. I lived in a pretty bad household when I was in elementary school, and I just constantly heard, you're useless, you're not gonna do anything in life. From elementary school all the way to about halfway through high school, I just knew that I wasn't supposed to like myself, and I wasn't sure why, but I just didn't. But I think the thing that changed almost all of that was the internet. I really don't think that if it weren't for the internet, I would have at all learned to like who I am. I think I probably would still be wearing khaki shorts and Hollister t-shirts and being terrified everywhere I go. But there's something so powerful about seeing so many people love themselves and take care of themselves and take care of their brains and their bodies that kind of showed me that it's perfectly okay to like yourself. In fact, it's encouraged to like yourself. It's usually a good thing when you like yourself. This cookie dough is getting stickier and stickier, so it's getting harder and harder to mold them into perfect hearts. It's okay, it's a statement. All of our hearts are not perfect and they're all different, but they're still yummy. When it comes to the practices of things that I do in order to make sure that I'm still liking myself and that I don't like regress into self-hate, it's usually like a mixture of processes. It's writing music, making artwork, and surprisingly, a lot of it has been clothes. I think that with clothes in particular, it's a very like visible representation of who you are. So it takes a lot of courage to wear something that isn't normal, because that you're just blatantly telling the world, I'm not normal, look at me. I kind of mark the moment when I really fully was like, hey, I like myself, I don't hate myself, I don't care if you tell me that I'm supposed to hate myself, I think I'm pretty cool, so I'm just gonna do whatever I want. I marked that moment to the moment that I started wearing the clothes that I wanted. I'm gonna disperse these so I can fit some more. These are not gonna look like hearts at all, I can already tell. They're just gonna get obliterated in the oven. Hiccup. Do you guys remember How to Train Your Dragon? I was in love with that dragon. I really, really wanted that dragon as a pet. But sadly, those don't exist in real life. False advertising much? The moment that I started wearing things that I knew were different but didn't care that they were different was the moment that I fully was telling the world, hey, I'm not like everyone else, but it's chill and no one's really like anyone else. So like, I'm doing it. You can do it too. We can all be ourselves if you want. But it's really hard to get to that point, and it took a lot more internal learning how to love yourself before I could ever externalize that. I'm still learning how to just accept myself and how to not hate myself for things that I've done in the past and how to not blame myself for things that happened to me in the past. It's definitely a process, and lately I've kind of felt like on my channel I almost exude too much of a perfect personality, and I want you guys to know that I have bad days, and I have days where I don't want to get out of bed at all and where I just want to wallow in my sadness. And although I choose to show you guys mostly just the happy parts, I want you guys to know that there's a lot of days where I doubt myself just like any other human, and it's perfectly okay to doubt yourself. It's perfectly okay to sometimes feel not that great, but I think it's extremely important to remember that you don't have to hate yourself. And that's the way my brain used to work when I was younger. This cookie dough is getting too melty. It's just so sticky at this point. These hearts are gonna be so squashy. I really hope that they don't overflow. Everything's sticky. Okie doke. Capiche? We got this? Look at my cookies! They're so cute and so hearty. You can't really tell. Can you see? that they're hearts. Let's go ahead and bake these. Voila! Here are my cookies. They are no longer hearts. Some of them are kind of though. So we're gonna show those ones. I choose you. Look at that. Here's my cookie. It's a little bit less looking like a heart, more like a triangle, but I mean, love comes in all shapes and sizes, and this one looks like a triangle. Pretty dang good. So dang good. Who even needs love anyways? When you have cookies, I'll take my heart. I will leave the link to the recipe that I used in the description below if you want to make some. I can't eat gluten, so I subbed in the flour with gluten-free flour, but you obviously don't have to. They're very good. Would recommend. Nice and soft. Oh, that's... oh, no. Oh, that was so close. Okay. In the comments below, I'd love to hear what your thoughts about self-love and romantic love are. I'd love to hear what your journey of learning how to love yourself was like, because all of ours are different, and I think that if it weren't for me hearing how people learn how to love themselves, I don't think I ever would have loved myself. It'd be cool to kind of just share our thoughts and our opinions and hopefully help each other learn to love each other and ourselves a bit more. And if you did in fact have a high school relationship, I'd love to hear if you thought it was beneficial, if you thought it was not beneficial, and if you are or have been in a relationship, I'd love to hear what you learned from that relationship, because I think that the only thing that I really regret about not being in a relationship is that I never learned the things that you learn from being in your very first relationship. I'm going to go. I love you guys so much. Come on, Conan, you're a very talented boy, you can do this. Oh, that just hit my nose. I'll see you guys in a few days with a brand new video. God bless and goodbye. I